guys, welcome back to the Glint Standard. Today we are going to be talking about SEO. What to expect in this podcast is basically the beginner's guide. So what is this? Why is SEO important? And how does this help your business? So, Craig.
What would you like to know?
What is SEO? What does it stand for? Give us your thoughts.
Search engine optimization.
Woo! You got that correct.
Good. A lot of pressure on that one.
Yeah, so what is it? What does it do?
It's search engine optimization. And then I rely on our digital director to really make sure it does what it's supposed
There's
to do.
There's nothing left to know. It's just that definition. Just move on.
That's it. Yeah. That's all you need to know.
Well, you know.
It's your digital real estate. It's your map. It's how you're found, right? It's
and this is how you're found on Google.
All search engines.
All search engines. Okay.
It's search engines make their money by finding relevant content for people right away.
Okay.
So when someone says, I want this, it goes and finds websites that say they have that. And then it feeds back. And then, of course, you can pay for advertising. If we stay on the organic side, the more your website says it does that and aligns with that, the higher position you're gonna be found. You'll be number 1, number 2, number 3, whatever. And everybody cares about that.
Yes.
A lot more to it than that. But generally speaking, that's what it does. That's what a search engine does. So it is going, okay, if you want me to find you, I need you to put these things into place.
Keywords.
Keywords are one of them. Yeah, there are a few others as well. And if you do these things the way I like it, then when I go out and I search and you have those things, I'm going to prioritize you above somebody else. And that's why SEO is so important. It helps you be found. It helps the search engines do a better job.
That was a really good answer. And for those who don't really understand, and to make it even simpler, if you're Googling how to curl my hair with a flat iron.
I have not done that.
I have. And shocking enough, I figured it out because Google helped me with SEO. And it gave me the best possible options for what I was searching for. And I think that's what a lot of people don't understand, and maybe the disconnect is, even though SEO can be this, SEO.
I like that term. I'm going to start using it.
SEO. No.
I love it.
SEO seems to be this big, at least what I kind of felt like when I first got into this industry, this big, elaborate definition that makes it more complex than it is, but it's literally just how to, or this and that, and it matches the keyword, and it's pretty simple, although the tactics behind it are a little more complex, which we'll get into in a second, and why we rely on our digital team to do that type of work. But to round it up, it's important for your business because it helps other people, potential clients, potential customers, see what you have to offer. There we go.
It does. The other thing I'll throw in there too, it's easy to always say it's your website. It's not.
I was gonna address this. Okay,
all
so yes, so there is, to break SEO up into two categories, I would say, is on-page SEO and off-page SEO. So can you talk to me about on-page? And I know we discussed websites, but exactly like what about a website?
Yeah, it's interesting. On page, what you're looking for are to put the right keywords into place. You're looking for schema tagging. You're looking for page speed is pretty important. Meta descriptions, not just for the pages, but also for the content that's on the pages, maybe a photo. Make sure you're taking the time to label those things, because all of that adds to, somebody wants this. Not only do they say they can do it, they have a lot of things on their site that says they can do it.
Right.
That's really the best way to look at that. So that's on page, and that's really building your website so it can be found, and that's why it becomes so important.
This is, sorry, didn't mean to interrupt you. This is a combination of kind of the back end of website development and also the content that's on the page. So like blogs or website copy that you see. This is all a combination of that and on page, yes?
It is, and you want to go a little bit further, it is. A little trick I can share.
Tell me.
When you're writing content, you don't need to be a developer to do this. When you're writing content, we'll stick with the web page for right now. There's a term called predictive search.
Ooh.
Right? So when you're looking for how to curl your hair, as you start to type, you see all these categories start popping up, going, I think you're looking for this. Oh, this. Oh, okay. And then you can just click on it. Those terms are what most people are searching for. If you can incorporate some of that into your content, it's already aligning. It takes a lot of time. It's a lot of work. And when you're writing content for digital, it is effective. It's one of many things. It's not going to do it alone.
Yeah, but it's the low-hanging fruit.
It is. And it's also, when you're writing content for the website, a lot of times you'll write it like you're writing a brochure. Working in key terms like that, keywords that people are looking for, you write in terms for that. You want to keep your flow there, but it doesn't have to be like you're writing a brochure, because the purpose of it is to be found.
Right. So. True. Do you have any like recommended tools like predictive search or anything like that to help you? I know one that we typically use is AdWords to kind of see what top keywords are to include in all of our content. Do you have any ideas for our listeners?
You can use that.
Or do you rely on me? No.
Well, I'll line you to do the job. No. Some basic tools that work really well. SEMrush. It's going to be an expensive tool, so your average person is not going to probably see the value of the investment there. Maybe shouldn't.
And what does that do?
But if you hire an agency, they will have those tools.
There you go.
It's going to look at all your keywords.
Okay.
And it's going to rank them. And it's going to tell you what people pay for them. And it's going to tell you what your expectations should be. And if there's a word you think is important that you're ranking for, maybe you want to pay a little more attention to that. Or if there's a word you think is important that's not there, then you got to make some adjustments. But it's not just about how it shows what you're ranking for now, and then you can adjust that based on how you want to improve it, how you want to.
So that's a really great tool for people to use.
It really is. It really is a great tool.
Even though it's more of an expensive tool, it's one to invest in because it gives you so much benefit.
I'd say invest in it if you're a digital company, an ad agency, a marketing firm. That makes sense.
Okay.
If you're an individual or a small business, probably not worth it, because that you're starting to get a little more advanced at that point, and it's going to be lost on you a little bit.
Okay, thank you for clarifying.
Yoast SEO is a great plugin. There are a lot of third-party plugins you can put on the back end of websites that are going to help do a lot of this work for you, so you're not doing it manually. There aren't a lot of companies out there that do it manually anymore.
Interesting.
Because the tools have gotten so good.
Right.
You need to pay attention to it. You need to know if the tools are doing what they need to do.
I've always been a big advocate of letting technology work for you.
Absolutely.
And I know this is definitely not SEO related in a sense. It kind of is though. You know, like on Netflix or any video streaming site where you type in, you know, a movie you want to watch, a show, and then it has recommended searches for you on top of it.
Yep.
I'm not a fan of using someone else's or people using my
you don't know me.
people using my like Hulu account or Netflix account, because they're gonna mess up my search. They're gonna mess up my algorithm that tells me, because what if your tastes are not mine? I'm always a big advocate of letting technology work with you, because that's what's gonna get you the furthest. So it's interesting that you say that there are a lot more tools that work better.
For you, but check it and watch it.
But watch it,
because it does get off track sometimes.
Right.
And you don't know why.
Technology is
it's
not
awesome,
perfect.
but you do have to pay attention to it.
Not perfect.
Yeah.
I understand. So that was basically on-page SEO and how you can help your website presence and your website real estate in a sense. But what about off-page? What is off-page SEO?
Off-page is it's link building.
Okay.
You want to become or appear to be a resource. A lot of people go to your site. A lot of people use it. Search engines are going, ooh, that's popular. A lot of people go here. A lot of people leave here and go here. It's a driver. You know, it's a maven on the internet. You know, I like that, and that's going to help push you up in your rankings as well that way. To be found on page one, things like that, right?
Interesting.
Social media is a big part of it.
I was going to ask about social.
YouTube's a huge part of it.
Really? How so?
Google owns it.
That's true.
How to. Usually if you put how to, you will find almost every single time there's going to be a video pop up.
That's how I found my hair curling video.
There you go. So on that video, if it is not tagged correctly, if it's not popular, if it has not run its gamut, it's not going to be found. And that's why that has nothing to do with your website.
That makes a lot of sense.
So when you're putting any kind of content up on the web, tag it. Hashtags, keywords, meta descriptions that relate to what you're trying to do in the video, but also based on how people will search for that information.
Okay, can you describe for me what a meta description is? Because you keep saying it, I'm not sure if our listeners know.
The easiest way to describe that, you're writing a description of,
like an image
what
description.
Your content is.
Okay.
Right? Your image description is really just a label. But the description of, say you did a blog. Okay, here's the little snippet that's going to pop up.
Right? So that's the preview.
Right. It is kind of a preview, but it's written in a way with keywords in it that help define what's in the content.
Okay.
And that people are searching for. It gets a little sophisticated. So
Don't
overthink it. But at the end of the day, make sure you're filling in all the blanks. And as an example, SEO Yoast, if that was on your website or your blog site and you're doing a blog, it has a tool at the bottom. And it tells you, put these things in. And as you do it, it's going to give you a red face or a green face or a smiley face saying how good it's working. And then it'll give you some suggestions on how to adjust it.
I love when I get the smiley face.
Yeah, the red one's not good.
The red one's not good. There's there's another one. We're talking about WordPress, by the way. Yeah. And the one that I always try to overcome is the that one where it's just like a flat line. Like, this is okay. You can do better, but
it's okay.
It's not the worst we've ever seen.
But if you're talking about basic intro, let's just stick with that one.
Yeah, that's fine.
Making it perfect takes a lot of time, and people gone to school for this.
Yeah.
And that's why they went to school for the smiley face.
Yeah, true. Okay, so back into social media, because I had a podcast about social for business, and I always think that that's very important. What about social media that helps your SEO? Are you talking about captions? Are you talking about hashtags? Are we talking about our bios, like linking your website to your Instagram bio or linking your blogs to your photos? Or what are we talking about with that? Is it all of it?
Yeah, it is a little bit of all of that, the integration of all the tools. Right? At the end of the day, you can do a tool here, and you can do this here, and do this here, and here. But you want them to work together, and that's what SEO is doing for you. SEO is driving to your web or
driving to your YouTube
if you want to. But it is also putting a lot of content out there that can be absorbed quickly. And the more popular that content becomes, the better you're going to be found. Well, that's popular for people, so let me look at that. And it's a machine that's doing all this. It's all instantaneous.
Right.
Oh, let's pop that up now. So then you search a company, you see their website, their YouTube channel, their social media channels, and you've got all these things. Ooh, they've got stake in the game. They're everywhere. That's pretty good credibility.
Very true. Right? I know when I search for Nike it's Nike, so obviously they know what's going on. But whenever you search for a big brand like that on Google, they load up their social media sites on top of it, because Twitter is like their next one underneath, like the .com. So I understand that could be one and the same, and why companies should invest in SEO, but also invest in social media, because not only does it help your overall online presence and give you more credibility as a company, it helps rank you first on search engines.
At the end of the day, the content has to be good. You can't
just
don't
post content just to post it.
That's important to say.
Yeah.
Content has to be good and relevant, otherwise it's going to hurt you. Because people are going to go, and you got bounce rate.
That's true.
They're going to go and immediately come off. That's not what I wanted. You get a lot of that. Search engines are going to go, there's a lot. People never stay. This can't be the right information. They've got the wrong stuff. Let's just ignore that.
Okay.
It may be a good way to think about that. The other key that works really well for off-page are review sites. They pop up left and right.
Interesting.
They grab your information.
Like Yelp.
They pre-populate it. Yelp's a big one. Right? And there are millions of them. Right? They'll pop up left and right. You want to make sure your address and your way your company's named, every piece of information is the same, done exactly the same way on all of them. And a lot of those sites that pop up, they pre-populate. They could pull from your LinkedIn page. They could pull from your website. They could pull from anywhere. So if it's Suite 102 or 205, don't put number 205. Cleaning that up helps as well.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I didn't even think about reviews
Absolutely.
and stuff like that, like Google Maps.
Consistency with your content.
Content consistency. Huh. Very interesting. So what should you not do for SEO
Nothing.
standards?
Don't do nothing.
Don't
do something.
Do something. Fill in all of your
Just
blanks.
start.
I know. So our digital team is really awesome, and they are very knowledgeable in this stuff. When I was speaking to a member about kind of what a client should do for their website and how to improve, I know this is more a complex tactic than kind of the beginner's guide for SEO, but I would say what not to do is to write in like SEO old terms. We are a beauty building in South Lake, Texas, doing this, and constantly writing in sentences like keyworded and write like a normal person. Would you say that that's a big thing too? Because there are some websites that
there's a lot to that.
There are some websites that come out with just straight keywords, and we're here.
One thing that'll get you blacklisted from search engines, which you don't want to be. If you take content, terms like that, put it on your homepage, and you have a white background, you put that text up there in white. So no one can see it, and you're doing it just to be searched.
People do that?
Oh, yeah. That's going to get your site taken down. It's going to be hard to get back up.
Oh my, I didn't even know that was a thing.
Content
That's cheating.
Take that same content and continue to repeat it.
Yes.
Not good.
Wow.
Right? They want original things. Right? That's how
because Google is smart.
And at the end of the day, you're trying to relate to people as well, so you really don't want to do that anyway. So that's what I would avoid for sure.
Right. Okay, that was a good one. What
don't get blacklisted. And if you want to
I didn't even know you could
not get blacklisted,
I didn't even know you could get blacklisted.
Search how do I get blacklisted? It will tell you. And don't do those things.
Really, just don't do any of them. But also don't leave it blank. Always fill in the blanks. I had a really good friend of mine, and this is not SEO related, but it does pertain to the story. Whenever I was taking tests in high school, I didn't know like the fill in the blank answer. I would just kind of leave it blank. So I was like, I don't really know. And she'd be like, you can't ever do that. You have to fill it in. Why would you just leave it blank? Like, say something. That just reminds me of her. But anyway, okay, so we covered on-page SEO, which is essentially all the content, descriptions, titles, all of that good stuff on your website and website alone. And then off-page SEO really is link building, social media. How are people finding your business online as a whole and not necessarily just on your website? So, Craig, how do we do this? Do we use the holistic approach? Do we focus on one thing first and do another? Or should you always be taking into account all of these things and doing it to the best of your abilities?
You should do everything to the best of your abilities. That's my rule of thumb, right?
Well, I guess that's true. I gave you the obvious answer.
Capacity, the time it takes to do it, the value you're going to get back on it. A lot of times you'll feel like if I go do all these things, I'll immediately get a ton of customers. Web is very much about lead generation for the most part. That's why you're doing it. There are some nonprofits about getting information out to help people learn and educate and understand. That's the other side of it. I don't know. It's hard to do all of these things we're talking about. It takes a lot of time.
Right.
That's why people hire agencies to do these things for you.
Very true.
Take one thing, start there, and do it really well. But set your expectations based on where it is. If you're going to leave this and go, I'm going to go tackle all my digital stuff this week, and that's all I'm going to work on, it's not going to be enough. It's not going to change that much for you. Put some of the basic things in place, especially if you're a local business in a local market.
Okay.
That'll start to help a little bit. When people are looking for you, they're going to specifically look for the most part. And if you're a restaurant, as an example, be on some restaurant lists. Italian cuisine in Keller, Texas. Have that as a keyword. Put that on your site. Put some of the big stuff. That way, at least you're in the game.
Right.
That's what I would recommend. Don't try to take it all on unless you're going to become a company
that
does this for a living. It's complex. There's a lot to it, and it does take a lot of time.
It does. That's why Google has classes over it too.
They absolutely do, and you can take classes and get trained on how to do it as well.
Yeah, you can take a class, you can read a book, or you can hire an agency. And we can do that for you because we specialize in that stuff.
Absolutely.
Obviously, we look at the holistic approach, but I would say that filling in the blanks, actually doing some small research, because what do you know? SEO, if you type in what is SEO, the irony of that, what is SEO will pop up.
Yes.
And you'll get a little beginner's guide on that too. So really, that's the beginner's guide right there.
That's
On
it.
page, off
Absolutely.
page, this is how you do it. Do a holistic approach and hire an agency.
There you go.
Okay, guys, thank you so much for listening. Find us on all of our social platforms, or you can look us up, glintadv.com, and subscribe to our newsletter where we break down topics such as these and more.
Thanks for watching this episode of the Glint Standard. You can see more episodes here, or click the logo below to follow our channel, and please hit the thumbs up if you like this episode.